This is why we want to act. This is why we want
Straight
to
up.
act. This is why we want to become actors, because we want to have this kind of impact on audiences.
People are going to be surprised to know that there were Asian Americans in the South living in the 1930s. So I really appreciated that Ryan included that within
Yep.
this film. I would love to know from you, how does the historical context of that era, really influence Grace's story and her place within this community, as she's kind of navigating this supernatural threat in the film?
What I loved about Grace versus the actual Chinese American community in the Mississippi Delta in the 30s was that in a documentary made by a filmmaker named Dolly Lee, she interviewed a handful of Chinese Americans who grew up during that time, and they did say that they needed to all stay in their lanes, and as long as they didn't cross over, everything was fine. But I love that Grace and Bo Chow are such good friends with obviously every character in this film. And, there was this community and family. So I really appreciated that. But yeah, I wasn't aware of the Mississippi Delta Chinese American community, but they were a very important part of history. They were a small number, but they were the grocery owners that provided both for the Black and white community during the
Sustenance.
time. And
Providing sustenance.
Well, it
yeah.
wasn't lost on me that scene where your daughter walks from one side of the street
Yeah.
to the other. Like I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I see that.
Mhm.
Ryan is so good
Love that.
the things that he really wants to say. That being said, Ryan is such a distinct voice as a filmmaker, and this is not just a vampire movie at its core.
Absolutely not.
It is a film that, it's music and culture, past, present, and future. And God, my experience as a viewer was haunting. So, I would love to know from you both, Delroy and Omar, what was it like on set? For me as a viewer, I know what I walked away with, but for you guys working on set with Ryan and seeing the final product, how does his vision shape your performance and your experiences on this?
Fully. We performed. I performed what he wrote, and hopefully that actualized his vision.
But you did more than that. You inhabited what he wrote, and you personalized and humanized what he wrote, and that elevated the whole thing.
You see that?
In my
My
opinion,
brother right here.
No, in
That's
my
all right.
opinion.
Man, you all right.
Okay, you know what? He can stay. He can stay when I do.
I can say now.
The first thing I want to say is that it's really gratifying. I think I speak for all three of us when I say that you as a consumer, the way that you got it, you got the notes that Ryan was going for as storyteller, the notes that we as performers have been part of presenting to the audiences, and you as an audience, you got it, and that's you received it. And that's incredibly gratifying. That's the first thing. And I would say that it's indicative not only of the power of what Ryan Coogler wrote, but the power of the product that we've all together, ensemble, cumulatively created and are now presenting to audiences. This is why we want to act. This is why we want
Straight
to
up.
act. This is why we want to become actors, because we want to have this kind of impact on audiences.